Hey guys, and just like that, it's Friday. Yes, Friday. And welcome to the Fox 5 Live Zone. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. Thank you so much for joining us. Doesn't it just feel good when you say Friday like that? We got a busy show. Coming up in the show, President Trump's former national security advisor in the hot seat, searched by the feds. We got the who, what, when, where, and why coming up momentarily. The federal surge right here in the nation's capital continues. Now there's word, possibly additional troops that may very well be armed. We'll break it down. And believe it or not, we're talking skinny jeans. Yes, skinny jeans. Apparently, Gen Zers say they are a thing of the past. However, several millennials are saying, hold up, wait a minute, not so fast. We'll break that down and so much more during our Friday Talkers with Annie Mae. But first, let's talk weather, shall we? And well, being that it's so nice outside, we got a chance to check out our good friend Caesar in Frederick County, Maryland earlier today for the zip trip. So we said, you know what, Caesar? Why don't you continue to hang out there and give us the forecast from good old Frederick County, Maryland. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well, Guy, and it is a beautiful day out here. We continue to see lots of sunshine. As we go to the afternoon, you'll end up seeing just as much sunshine. That's going to be the best thing about it. So what do you need to know? Well, it's going to be sunny and nice, point blank, right? Hey, we are going to have beautiful conditions really hanging with us. And as we really enjoy a lot of what's going on for today, well, that's going to be repeating itself as we head in towards parts of the weekend. So Saturday is looking to be fantastic as well. We'll hop right over towards that 7-day forecast. Look at that. It is going to be an almost carbon copy day, right? Warm, sunny, also with very little cloud cover as we continue to hang, much drier. And that's thanks to a lot of the back end, the calmer side of what Aaron has produced as it continues out towards the north and east. So as that continues to bring us what's known as subsidence, a lot of that sinking, calming air, we see plenty of sunshine, temperatures back in towards those low to mid 80s. And that's actually still below what we normally see for this time of year for our average high, which is around 88 degrees. So get outside, enjoy it, take advantage, because a lot of us will end up still seeing some rain showers, especially a little further out west here by the time we get to Sunday. So it's going to be scattered, not a ton of rain, but it's still going to possibly put a little bit of a damper out there, especially with the lightning. That becomes, again, an issue in the summer. Thunderstorms, again, are a potential summer hazard, especially if you want to hang outside. I know most of us are enjoying the fact that temperatures are hanging in those mid to even upper 80s, you know, getting finally rid of those 90s. But again, if you hear thunder, when thunder roars, head indoors. Always make sure to be safe. But again, most areas to the west, so places like Frederick, and also in towards Loudoun County, maybe even as far east as parts of Montgomery and even going in towards Fairfax. That's where we can see some of those rain showers. The district, I think, will be a little bit more spared from some of those rain showers, but you can't rule anything out as we have another little system moving through. It is just a cold front, so luckily nothing tropical. Then we see temperatures rebounding back in towards those mid 80s for us on Monday to start off the new work week. A few clouds, so we do have some filtered sunshine out there. Not going to be feeling as hot, thankfully, because we do get some shade out of those out of that cloud cover. And then that continues the trend going in towards parts of next week, right? The good thing is, though, because we do experience that cold front, it helps drop temperatures back in towards those low 80s. So we go from 85 on Monday to 81 on Tuesday, partly cloudy still, so we do still see some of those clouds hanging with us. And then by the time we get in towards Wednesday, look at that, the upper 70s, mornings, low 60s. It's going to feel just like fall, and wow, I am here for it. I know a lot of us have been loving the fact that we've had temperatures in those 70s over when Aaron produced a lot of that cloud cover for us, kept us a little bit on the cooler side on Wednesday. Well, we have a repeat of that just about going in towards next Wednesday. Again, some clouds still hanging with us. Then as we head in towards Thursday, going to see temperatures bumping back in towards those low 80s, but again, not necessarily too bad. It's also going to be less humidity as well. So as we start to see this more little fall-like feature for us going in towards next week, not only is it going to be a great time to be outside, but again, you know, you got to soak in the last bits of summer. We are starting to see a decrease in our sunsets. So time is now, sunsets are actually earlier than 8 p.m. now. We won't see sunsets past 8 p.m. until next April, May. So yeah, it is going to certainly be one of those times where we want to go outside, soak it all in. Guy, I know you've mentioned that you enjoy being able to get out when it's not, you know, super humid out there. So I know next week is looking fantastic for all of us.
Hey, Caesar, we should trade places right now. You should come in the studio, and I should hang out there and do the show from yet again, Frederick County, Maryland. Enjoy, my friend. Well deserved. Right. Bring, let's say, a brew back for me. By the time you get back, I'll be off, and I can have a sip with you, my friend. Caesar joining us with all things weather right here on the Live Zone from Frederick County, Maryland. All right, guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. That way you can take that amazing forecast with you any and everywhere you go. And we begin the show today on President Trump Watch, where we are getting reports that any minute now, the president is planning to announce that the 2026 World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center in December. Today's announcement combines two pet projects of Trump's, his boosting of the World Cup and his revamping of the Kennedy Center. By the way, the tournament's draw, which sets the group stage of competition for the 48 countries set to participate, will mark the first major event of the tournament, roughly 6 months before the first matches kick off. Yet again, and we are expecting to hear that announcement sometime in the near future. Speaking of the president calling the federal takeover of Washington, D.C. a major success, naming the city safer than ever. Last night, the president held a meeting, and, well, let's just say it was a meet and greet with some 300 men and women of all agencies. Janae Addison joining us right now on the Live Zone to break it all down for us. It was a sight to see, Janae.
Definitely was. So yesterday, Trump met with police and military members to talk about the deployment and the latest developments with that. And he even suggested that he might try similar tactics in other cities. Take a listen.
We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital. And
So I'm really curious, yet again, the president speaking to a number of men and women. He then made his way back to the White House. Shortly thereafter, a number of community leaders actually responding. What do they have to say? Yeah,
so we know Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia is very supportive of Trump's policies. Meanwhile, Governor Westmore from Maryland did express concern. He even invited Trump to come to Maryland to go on a public safety walk. So a lot of ranging emotions when it comes to this.
Yeah, the million-dollar question. Will President Trump decide to go visit Maryland? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Jimmy Addison reporting right here on the Live Zone. Well, the other big story of the day, perhaps you've seen it by now, the FBI conducted a court-authorized search this morning at the home of John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor. That according to a person familiar with the matter. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more, hey, she's back, Andrea Kaye from the Andrea Kaye Show and political strategist back here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back, and what a day to be on.
I tell you, it's a lot going on right here in the nation's capital. Specifically, we are based in Bethesda, which, by the way, Andrea, that's exactly where this FBI search took place just minutes ago. It has the script, as I would say, made for a movie. In this case, Clear and Present Danger. Remember that? Am I dating myself? However, in this case, it's the real deal. As you heard me make mention, the FBI out of Baltimore searching the home of John Bolton, who wrote a book back in 2020 to which Trump claims he unveiled top secret information. The FBI also searching his downtown office. President Trump speaking earlier today saying to reporters that he knows nothing about the probe but expects to be briefed. What do you have to say about this, Andrea?
Well, first of all, I'm just sorry that y'all weren't there at 5 a.m. with cameras in which he was dragged out of his home with his disabled wife, like what happened to Roger Stone. Look, and it wasn't just President Trump who said that the book included classified information. So did the judge, because there were lawsuits to try to stop the publication of this book. And even the judge at the time said, I'm going to allow the publication to go forward, but yeah, it likely includes national security secrets. This guy who claims to be, I call him lip broom, he claims to be the arbiter of all things related to foreign policy and national security. He gloated when Mar-a-Lago was raided, claiming that Trump just didn't appreciate sources and methods. Yeah, that guy made off with classified documentation that he intended to use to thwart, to damage a free and fairly elected president of the United States. Yeah, I want to see him brought to justice. And as for the other raid taking place at his office, that's because they want to see what else he might have done with these classified documents, including leaking to the legacy media, because the legacy media during the Russian collusion probe and all the different ways in which the intelligence community sought to launch a coup against President Trump included the leaking of classified information. Nobody is above the law, right, lip broom? I'm glad to see it.
Andrea, Maryland Governor Wes Moore speaking out since this raid took place, stating that, and obviously he is a Democrat, stating in so many words that this is politically motivated. Would you agree with him or disagree?
Well, I think I just destroyed that narrative in talking about the fact that the judge himself claimed that he was publishing national security secrets. And you're not supposed to be doing, only the president of the United States can declassify documentation, can declassify intelligence, not John Bolton. So this isn't political. What's happening, much to the Democrats' much to their chagrin, is that unlike the Democrats, unlike Merrick Garland's Department of Justice, what we have here is we have people actually being investigated for crimes that were committed instead of what we saw under Merrick.
Will be jumping for joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually shocking that Powell is still digging in his toes, 10 toes down, into not lowering interest rates when his own gal Cook got busted for mortgage fraud because she was trying to get better mortgage rates in properties that she owned across the country. Look, it's going to happen at some point. Unfortunately, this is just another reminder of those in the deep state across every institution we have that are all about their own agenda and not about doing the right thing for the American people.
Andrea Kaye, political strategist and host of the Andrea Kaye Show, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, my friend. Make it a great day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, guys, we'll take it to the international stage, where earlier today, the Kremlin was quoted as saying that no meeting between Putin and Zelensky is planned. They did, however, insist that the Russian president remains steady and ready to meet when there's an agenda for their meeting. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Sam Ross, from the David Boaz Resident Writing Fellow at Young Voices and a nationally published political analyst and trained public relations professional, yet again back on the Live Zone. Sam, always good to see you, sir. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
So, Sam, it's no secret, depending on who you ask, this isn't happening. Perhaps it is happening. The question is, will it happen, and when will it happen?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of uncertainty still around the negotiations with regards to ending the conflict in Ukraine, the Russian aggression that started several years ago at this point. And I think that what the American people are really waiting to see is whether or not this administration is able to stick the landing on this and continue to remain steady in its support for our ally, Ukraine. We've provided them with military equipment throughout this conflict. We are very closely aligned with them on our political priorities, being both westernized countries involved with, most of the westernized diplomatic relationships. So I think that what we're waiting to see is whether or not an agreement can be reached, and then what that agreement is going to look like.
Typically, with regard to a meeting, we know that safeguards are discussed as well, but some would argue that, well, that wasn't the case with regard to President Trump and Vladimir Putin. I'm curious, your take on all of that.
Yeah, I think that what we saw last week in Alaska with the B-2 bomber flying over Putin was certainly quite the spectacle. And I think that if that is an indicator of how this administration is going to approach negotiations with Putin, I think we're going to see a lot of toughness, a lot of red lines in the sand. I think the president has voiced his new support for some level of security guarantees in Ukraine as the conflict winds down. So I think that we're at a position of strength right now, whether or not that remains and whether or not they stand firm against, letting Russia trying to claim a ton of land, letting Russia trying to weaken the state and relationship of Ukraine with foreign nations. That's going to be the most important part, because we need this to not just be some sort of temporary peace, but lasting stability for Ukraine going forward.
I think we can all agree with that. Sam, will end with this, and that is, obviously you don't have a crystal ball right in front of you, but, well, should you? How do you think all of this would play out?
Yeah, I think that the president is in a really good place right now, and if he can kind of tune out all the talking heads that are trying to tell him to concede quickly, to trying to tell him to, hand over land, let Russia just do its thing, I think that he has shown consistently to really stand up for allies in the Middle East, stand up for our allies in South America and their fight against dictatorships attempting to take over their countries. So I think that if we can project that here, we're going to be in a really good place. But that all remains, yeah, really unsteady right now. And I think that people want some level of clarity around what negotiations are ultimately going to look like.
Yet again, clarity on all sides. Sam Ross joining us right here on the Live Zone. Sir, I truly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll take it from that region to the region of Gaza, where Israel's launch of Operation Gideon's Chariots B marks one of the largest offensive in Gaza City in decades, with some 60,000 reservists deployed and civilian casualties already mounting. Now, while the UN and Arab mediators push for restraint, Hamas's unexpected acceptance of a 60-day truce, well, that raises the question, is this a fleeting chance for de-escalation? Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Abdullah Hayek. He is a Middle East analyst and Middle East History and Peace Fellow at Young Voices. Sir, good to see you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir. It's great to be here.
I got to tell you, this is obviously one of the big stories. We have all had a very close eye on that part of the world. Some believe Israel's offense, if you will, could undermine its international standing. It's being discussed a lot. I'm curious, your thoughts on that?
Well, it already has. In Europe right now, we're seeing a wave of new policies, new recognitions in regards to the conflict that we haven't seen before. Just last month, we've seen the British, the French, the Portuguese, and numerous other European states declare that they will recognize a Palestinian state in the UN General Assembly this September. But they have mentioned that they will do so without any role for Hamas in the Strip. And this is also followed by states such as Canada, Australia, and numerous other states. It's important to note that numerous European states have already recognized a Palestinian state, such as Ireland, Norway, and Spain. But there's a broader wave of change of policy regarding to the conflict internationally, and it hits here at home. We're seeing numerous new statements regarding to the conflict in which Israel is not receiving that much support, and it is due to its role in the conflict that has really diminished its standing in terms of the offensive in Gaza, the humanitarian issues occurring there, the impending famine. So right now, I think that Israel, rather than just go through with recruitment and conscription to a renewed offensive, it should take up the offer that was taken on behalf of the Arab League and the European Union last month, July 29th in New York, to go through with the steps towards ending the conflict. I think after 2 years into the conflict without any foreseeing of an end, it's better that we end the conflict very soon.
You made mention of the civilians that have been killed in that region, and obviously this is top of mind for so many folks, but yet again, some would argue it's been overlooked time and time again. Would you agree?
Well, yes, since October 7, 2023 till today, we've had over 62,000 Palestinians dead in the Strip. The infrastructure is diminished. The education facilities there, about 97% of them are gone. In terms of water, right now, only 40% of Gaza's water function is functioning since before the war. We have almost 20% of Gaza's healthcare facilities in function. So right now, an impending catastrophe is going to be forecast that is much worse than what we've seen. And, the Israelis right now, the steps that they need to take in return for ending the conflict and plus to the release of the hostages, I believe that they need to move forward on the diplomatic front rather than the military front. There is a partner for peace in the region in which the Arab League, in sponsorship with the European Union, are taking steps to end the conflict. I think it's important to note that the regional position towards the conflict should not be mistaken or confused with that of the Iranian position. The Arab partners, the US allied partners, have been extremely vocal for decades towards ending the conflict, and Israel has a partner for peace there. So I think right now it needs to move forward with that end rather than just continue with a military offensive that just is continuing to isolate it internationally and diminish any prospects for long-term peace in the region.
Yet again, we will have to simply wait and see. We have been speaking with Abdullah Hayek. He is a Middle East analyst and Middle East History and Peace Fellow at Young Voices. Sir, truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Same here. Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll take our first break. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, earlier this morning, President Trump threatened a full federal takeover of the nation's capital, accusing D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser of putting forth inaccurate crime figures. In a post on Truth Social, the president declared Washington, D.C. is safe again. The crowds are coming back. The spirit is high, and our D.C. National Guard and police are doing a fantastic job. That in the form of a written post. The president also had this to say earlier at the White House Historical Association.
We've moved, as you know, the store from Waveview. You've had it for many years because we're starting construction of the ballroom. And Stuart's excited about it. I think everybody's excited about it. It's going to be amazing, actually. But that was where they had their store. So we had to move them out, and we're going to find them another location over there. But this is the store that recently opened. Stuart, would you like to say anything about the store?
Well, we're so excited to have the president here to look at the gift shop. And we have this wonderful People's House gallery, so that while the White House is closed for tours for this wonderful ballroom to be built, we have this 33,000 square foot experience open 7 days a week, free to the public. So until that's built and reopened, we're happy to welcome everyone here, and so honored and happy that you came over today.
And you do a great job. He's been here a long time, and we have a lot of things in common. We love the White House, right?
I love that, and history.
And we're doing some very detailed renovations, fixing things that are broken, fixing floors that are cracked up and not good anymore. And in many cases, they were done in the 50s and 60s and 70s. The bones are so great. They have marble that is so unbelievable, but it hasn't been polished and hasn't been grouted and hasn't been taken care of. And we're able to use most of it as opposed to taking it out. We're able to use it. You couldn't buy, actually it's marble that you couldn't buy. The slabs are so big, white, beautiful slabs. You couldn't buy it today. And we're renovating it. And Kennedy Center within a year will be unbelievable. I think it's got tremendous. We're painting the columns a different color. You know, it's got a fake gold. If you're going to use gold, gold. You know about gold. I love the gold, but if you don't use 24 karat gold, it doesn't look good. And there's never been a paint that imitates it. So we're going to be painting the columns, probably a very good white, beautiful white. It'll look beautiful with the white marble behind it. The marble's all being renovated inside and out. So that's where I'm going right now. I have all the marble people with me, and we're going to do that with Kennedy Center. The interior of Kennedy Center is being totally done. The chairs are being replaced or renovated. The stages are being renovated fully. Very good stages, very good sound. They have great sound. We're lucky. Some opera houses, they spend a lot of time and money. If it doesn't have good sound, it's like you're born a certain way. If an opera house opens up and it doesn't have good sound, you never make it good. They try. They've tried. In New York, they had a problem, and they rip it apart every 5 years and try to make it good. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This one, the Kennedy Center has phenomenal sound. It's one of the big advantages. So we're going to make that fantastic. We have a great board of close to 40 people, and they're in love with it. And we'll have that. I think within a year, the Kennedy Center will be finished. I don't want to host, but they've asked me very strongly to host, so I'll host it, like I hosted The Apprentice years ago, and we'll do a good job. And we have the awards, I guess, on December something, early in December. We have the awards. Will be on CBS on television. So I just wanted to thank you. Do you have any questions or anything?
President Trump, you're going to fire Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, over her mortgage
I'll fire her
fraud?
if she doesn't resign. Yeah, what she did was bad. So I'll fire her if she doesn't resign.
Mr. President, have you been briefed on the FBI raid of John Bolton?
No, I don't know about it. I saw it on television this morning. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife. When I hired him, he served a good purpose because, as you know, he was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. Bolton, he wants to always kill people, and he's very bad at what he does. But he worked out great for me because every time he doesn't talk, he's like a very quiet person, except on television. If he could say something bad about Trump, he'll always do that. But he really doesn't talk. He's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton's there. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me, probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister.
I tell Pam and I tell the group, I don't want to know about it. Just, you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel that it's better this way.
Foreign Minister Lavrov said no meeting is planned right now between Putin and Zelensky. Absent that meeting, what are the next steps in your view?
Well, we'll see. We're going to see if Putin and Zelensky will be working together. You know, that's like oil and vinegar a little bit. They don't get along too well for obvious reasons, but we'll see. And then we'll see whether or not I would have to be there. I'd rather not. I'd rather have them have a meeting and see how they can do. But in the meantime, they continue to fight and they continue to kill people, which is very stupid because they're losing 7,000 people now. I used to tell you 5, now they're losing 7,000 people a day. 7,000 people a week. They're losing, think of that, they're losing 7,000 people on average a week, mostly soldiers. So we want to see if we can stop it. I've stopped 7 wars. I'd like to make this one I thought would have been in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty, and it's turning out to be the most difficult.
With the launching of the White House TikTok account, are you no longer concerned about privacy concerns or national security problems?
I'm really not. I think it's highly overrated. So TikTok, as you know, I used TikTok in the campaign. We have American buyers. And I haven't spoken to President Xi about it. At the right time when we're set, I'll do it. In the meantime, until the complexity of things work out, we just extend a little bit longer. But we have buyers. We have very substantial American buyers that want to buy it.
President Trump, would you like Congress to give you more control over DC when they return from recess?
Look, DC is a miracle what's happened. I mean, they can come up with fake numbers like the mayor is doing. Oh, no, it was going down for 20 years. You didn't live here. You know, have you been mugged, okay? DC was a hellhole, and now it's safe. And in fact, I put out this morning, I said, I hate to say this because it doesn't sound very good, but there have been no murders in DC in the last week. That's the first time in anybody's memory that you haven't had a murder in a week. And I think the mayor has to get on the ball because we have a situation, and she's a nice woman, but I'll tell you what, she's got to get on the ball. We have, I don't want to see phony numbers. DC hit an all-time high last year of absolute total crime, and it continued pretty bad. And then we put some strength into it, got the numbers down a little bit, but we brought in the DC National Guard, and we coupled them with the police, and it has been amazing. I have friends that live here, people that work in the White House, but I have friends that live here. They're all going out to dinner now. They haven't gone out in years. One man, I told this story yesterday when we were with the police and with the National Guard. We had a great little celebration, brought them hamburgers, brought them pizza, but we were with them, and I told the story about one friend hasn't been out in 4 years to a restaurant, and now he's been out 4 nights in a row. He called me this morning, by the way. He said it's so safe. He feels like totally safe. He can walk. He's got a 10-block walk. He walks it. He wouldn't have walked those 10 blocks. He said it would be a chain of hell, he called it. He said it was just horrible. He had no chance of making it to the 10th block. And the mayor has to admit that. She can't say.
Yet again, President Trump speaking earlier at the White House Historical Association in so many words stating that the mayor has put forth faulty numbers, as some say the math is not mathing. That, according to the president. Speaking of President Trump, he is due to make another announcement sometime, hopefully within the hour, surrounding the World Cup draw. It is to our understanding that will now take place possibly at the Kennedy Center this upcoming December. Well, that's what's happening in December. Let's talk about what's happening tomorrow, because all eyes are going to be on Northwest Stadium. That's where the Commanders are going to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Goes down at 12 noon. But first, we got to get a sense of what we should expect, what's going to happen, who's going to play. Got to talk about the roster. That's why we bring in this guy, John Bolton, former NFL player and NFL analyst, back here on the Live Zone. Happy Friday, my friend. Good to see you.
Well, good to see you, brother, and happy Friday to you.
All right, Let's jump into it, John. We're getting real close, close to the regular season. Obviously, they call it the Battle of the Beltway. Yes, it's the Commanders taking on the Ravens, which, by the way, I had to do a little research. At one point, the Ravens had a record of winning 24 preseason games in a row, but guess who they eventually lost to back in 2023? The Commanders.
The Commanders, huh? Broke that string, huh?
Yeah.
So that's the deal. So it's the Battle of the Beltway, and come down I-95 and play some good football and whatnot for this last preseason game. Both teams, players on the bubble, they got to take one play at a time and go out, battle, be mentally sharp, physically prepared, and to make a case for themselves, you know. And also they've got to they're going to put some tape on the film out there for the other teams to look, because you're also auditioning for them as well.
Yeah, I want to dive into that in just a second, but obviously let's talk about the big story, if you will, and that is training camp is pretty much come to an end. And guess who we did not see at all?
Yeah,
Terry McLaurin.
No, I know Scary Terry, right? Did not see him, but I think that he's a professional. He's been around for a long time. He's an old, wily veteran. I do believe he's going to be in the tip-top shape mentally and physically whenever that situation make itself available for him to be on the field. So that's going to be he and Daniels getting on the same page timing-wise and all that. So they're going to rely on that past of experience of them connecting down the field.
Yeah, obviously with him out, a lot of eyes on some of the other wide receivers. And then there's the rookie running back that, well, really has got a lot of folks talking there, John.
Well, you know, that's what you want to have them do. You know, you want to have people talking. You want to have the coaching staff make it difficult. You know, from my experience, I wanted to make it difficult. Not making it about me, but for those players like this rookie running back, you want to make it difficult for those coaches to cut you or put you on a practice squad. You want to make the 53-man roster. So keep people talking about you, saying this guy's something else, just what you want them to say. Even when your teammates are saying it, you know, your press and the coaches, you know.
So obviously the Commanders have to cut down the roster to 53. That's the magic number. 53 by the time the regular season gets underway, and not only the Commanders, but every daggone team in the NFL.
Every team.
And so with that being said, we touched on this earlier, and that is you got to show up and show out. But we're now approaching the last game of the preseason. I mean, is that something that you think is going to happen?
Well, still, you have to show up and show out for the especially last preseason game. Now, back when I played, we had 4 preseason games, and after each preseason game, they dwindled the roster down. They made cuts after each preseason game, but now it's one big cut, So, so this last preseason game, I don't care if it's on special teams, one play on defense, one play on offense. You got to go out there and make that count. You got to hustle. So you got to put 100% effort in everything, even in warm-ups, making sure you make the right plays and during warm-ups, That's how intense it can be for you, for a player, a young player in particular, because a lot of the veterans may not play,
Not to mention, yet again, the Commanders are taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I know they always say when you play within your division, it's a different type of, you kind of step your game up a little bit. But come on, John, let's be real. Even though this is a preseason game, you're playing the daggone Ravens who are right up the road. There's a lot of emotion involved.
It should be. I mean, I played for the Jets and the Giants back in the day, and those two teams didn't like each other, So even though you play them in the preseason, you want to beat them. Now, the Baltimore Ravens are right up the road from the Commanders, so they're coming into your house. You want to protect your house, and you make that a rival. So when during the time comes that you play them in the regular season, you let them know that hey, we challenged each other in the preseason. Now at the same time, again, both of these guys going to have a lot of young players out there playing. They want to make sure they put themselves in position to be seen by the Ravens and the Commanders and the other teams. So it's a battle. So hey, you want that winning? You want to go out on a good note. So you want to win. So that's the best thing to do. Go out and play against your rival, the team up the beltway from you.
Yeah, and we'll end with probably the most important piece of the Commanders, and that is Jaden Daniels. And I'm taking a guess. I'm probably right. I hope I'm right. He's not playing in this game, is he?
I don't believe he is. If it is, it's going to be like last week. He played last Monday, right? So he played one series, and he marched down the field, looked good, handed it all off to the wide receiver, and he used his legs to go into the end zone. So again, if he plays, it's going to be very limited. If he does not play, we're going to be seeing him in the first week, right? So that's the deal for him, Again, you still want to get that timing down, I said this earlier, warm-ups are special because even with a pat and go, team drills, you're getting the timing down. Every snap counts. So from warm-ups to him probably playing or not, it's all going to account for him getting ready for that week open.
Yeah, which we will all be watching, as no doubt. All right, well, I hope to see you, my friend. John Booty, former NFL player and NFL analyst, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you. Make it a great weekend, and go Commanders.
Go Commanders, huh?
All right. Yet again, don't forget to join our very own Chad Ricardo. 11:15 tomorrow. Mark it on your calendars. Write it down. It is must-see TV, and you can do so right here on the Fox Local app. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, and welcome to where we bring you the latest insights on health, wellness, and community engagement. Today, we're excited to shine a spotlight on a fantastic upcoming event. Yes, it's all about promoting a healthier lifestyle. I'm talking about the 9th Annual Community Day Health and Wellness Fair. Here to tell us all about it is the Reverend Dr. Orlando Jermaine Bago, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Pastor, good to see you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Guy. Thanks for having me today.
Did I get the last name correct?
You absolutely did.
Awesome. High five going out to me. Obviously, everyone knows you. You are the senior pastor at Center Point Church, and you do it all so well, sir. And we're so glad that you're here to discuss this major event that's coming up. And, you know, I really love that we're putting a spotlight on this because so many times when it comes to health, with regard to folks that look like you and I, we sweep it right under the rug. You say, no way, we're going to address it.
No way. So this year is the 9th annual Community Health and Wellness Day, sponsored by POAB, which is the Places of Worship Advisory Board under DC Health. It is comprised of religious organizations, community-based organizations, local government agencies in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And this year we are highlighting all of the different health and wellness services that we're having to members of the community, including children, youth, and seniors.
Yeah, I absolutely love this, but you're taking it a step even further. In this case, the theme is total wellness, one person at a time. You know, when I read that, it hits home because you know who I thought about? Me. I'm that one person.
Yeah, so this year we decided to have different pavilion stations that focus on men's health, mental health, senior wellness, health for our children, and even our women. We'll be providing vaccination screenings for seniors and for children going back to school. They'll be able to get their health records, immunization shots updated, dental screening, eyes checked, and the gambit. For our men in their pavilion, we'll be talking about mental health, prostate cancer, and other types of chronic diseases that are particularly impacting African American men.
Yeah, this is truly something that everyone needs to show up and show out for. And I say that because, well, it's no secret. It's, I guess, the elephant in the room. We all know that President Trump, in essence, has taken over the Metropolitan Police Department. Some of the folks have said that, you know what, I don't really want to go out right now. Although I'm not doing anything illegal, perhaps I don't want to be put into a situation where I have to answer to, let's say, a higher authority. And I'm not referring to God. With that being said, sir, I'm curious. Some encouraging words to let folks know that, hey, you know what? Despite what's going on, you should still show up and show out.
Absolutely. We're putting faith over fear. We're not allowing the issues that are impacting to detract from what is necessary as we go into the next academic school year for our students. Even for our seniors who are now finding themselves in a place where they have to decide whether or not they're going to purchase medication or purchase groceries. We're going to have fresh fruits and produce there for them, even if we have to pack it up ourselves and bring it to their homes. We are in the midst of bringing community together to highlight the positive aspects of what it means to be citizens, to be residents of the District of Columbia. This is a family affair and a community event, and so we encourage everyone to come out and enjoy so that we may have some reason to celebrate the fact that we are here in the DMV.
By the way, we see the events taking place on Saturday. That does not mean you are excused from showing up to church on Sunday. We should make mention of that.
That's right. You can't say that you partied all night Saturday and not show up on Sunday.
You touched on this earlier, Pastor, and that is about the free health screenings, the health services provided as well. But I'm hoping you can elaborate on the resources that will be made available.
Yeah, so we have several community partners, including MedStar Health, and other. We'll be signing up individuals who need Medicaid or their Medicaid is up for renewal. We have over a partnership with the organization who's going to be providing over 200 free immunization and booster shots. We're talking about flu and the other type of immunization shots that are needed. If there's dental care or vision care that is needed for children, youth, or our seniors, we'll be able to provide that free and at no charge.
And oh, by the way, plenty of entertainment as well. That's where you had me, sir.
Absolutely. Well, we wanted to say that as a surprise. Well, we do have some partnerships that'll be coming out and entertaining us all day long. So the event is this coming Saturday from 12 to 5. And one way or another, we want to make sure that people have the information and are able to come out and get the resources that they need.
As put so well, total wellness, one person at a time. Now we want all of you to join as well. Yet again, taking place tomorrow, the 23rd, 11 a.m. until 5 p.m., Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church, 3000 Pennsylvania Ave in the heart of Southeast D.C. Yet again, we have been speaking with the Reverend Dr. Orlando Jermaine Bago, kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate your time, Pastor. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Me.
You bet. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Yet again, we are awaiting President Trump to make an announcement surrounding the World Cup. That announcement was supposed to happen sometime in the 12 o'clock hour, yet I guess it has, as you can see, now been pushed back. When it does, and exciting news, perhaps taking place at the Kennedy Center. We will bring that to you live right here on the Live Zone. Speaking of D.C., a number of district agencies and community organizations are going to be hosting back-to-school events throughout the months of August and September. Come tomorrow, the Roving Leader Backpack Giveaway will take place at the Kennedy Recreation Center. That's in the heart of Northwest D.C., presented by DPR Roving Leaders. Joining us to tell us what's to be expected, hey, our friend is back, none other than Feenie Freeman, Director of the Washington, D.C. Department of Parks and Recreation. Always good to see you, Ms. Freeman.
Hi, Guy. It is so great to see you guys. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, I am so glad that you were here. The last time I bumped into you, I believe we were both at the Rammies, enjoying all things restaurants here in the nation's capital.
Absolutely. We're really excited, especially about the back to school drives. We partner with organizations, and believe it or not, we give away about 3,500 book bags to families. And so we encourage.
Uh-oh. Perhaps we have we've lost Beanie, who was I love it, reporting live outside of it. Looks like the backdrop there looks like somewhat of a high school, but oh, there you go. All right, you're back. Hey, Beanie, I get it. We really wanted to make sure we showcased the school behind you. I could tell that's where you're at, and so we lost the connection for just a second. But please proceed. Do tell. What's to be expected tomorrow?
Giving away backpacks, serving our families. Want to make sure that our families, we can relieve sunburn.
All right. Hey, we tried. Yet again, Thenie Freeman with the Department of Parks and Recreation joining us right here on the Live Zone. Let me do it. How about I interview me to tell you all about it? In this case, we're talking about the Roving Leader Backpack Giveaway set to take place. You actually see it. It started last week, and then, well, it's going to culminate tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd, 12 p.m. until 3 p.m. at the Kennedy Recreation Center, 1401 7th Street Northwest. Here's the best part. First come, first serve, which means you got to get there. Bags, yet again, are limited to 3 to 17-year-old students, which means, you know, like the student like me, and I could see, Thenie, that you're back on. Students like me, I can't show up and actually pick up a book bag. I'm a little bit too old.
Never too old to learn. Don't you start that rumor.
Thenie, I know you're busy, and I know this was hard for us to get you on, and I truly appreciate you. You are out and about in the community, making sure that the folks that are really in dire need of some assistance are getting just that. Yet again, Thenie Freeman, Director of the Washington, D.C. Department of Parks and Recreation. Hi, Thenie, and bye, Thenie, joining us right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break, guys.
Yoga
We'll be
Fest
right back.
tomorrow. Yoga Fest tomorrow. See you. Have a good one.
And then there was one. In this case, one more zip trip left. Yes, each and every Friday throughout the summer months, we celebrate all things local communities. In this case, well, earlier today, we got a chance to pay a visit to one of my favorite places in the beautiful state of Maryland. We're talking about Frederick County, which leads me to this, the 5 must-see stops in Frederick County.
Number 5, Schifferstadt Architectural Museum, built by German settlers back in the 1750s. This is one of the oldest buildings in all Frederick County. Today it is operated by the Frederick County Landmarks Foundation and open for tours on weekends. This fall, don't miss Oktoberfest featuring artisans, live music, and traditional German food and beer. Schifferstadt's a one-of-a-kind chance to explore local history, culture, and heritage. Number 4, Rose Hill Manor Park and Museums. This was once the home of Governor Thomas Johnson, Maryland's first governor. The estate includes a manor house, log cabin, blacksmith shop, barns, and more. Take a tour offered by museum staff who will tell you the full story of those who lived and worked on the property. And you'll find a powerful and immersive look into Maryland's early history and the people who shaped it. Number 3, Visitation Hotel and Y Oak Tavern. Downtown Frederick's first hotel in 50 years and worth the wait. The historic Visitation Hotel has been beautifully restored after a 6-year renovation. It features 65 boutique rooms and a buzzworthy new restaurant. History, luxury, and next-level dining, all in one unforgettable stay. Number 2, True Standard Distilling Company. Frederick County's newest distillery just opened this year with a mission to craft world-class rum. Their Dangerous Summer Rum series captures the essence of warm and sun-soaked days with no additives and expert craftsmanship. Every sip delivers bold flavor. Come for the rum, stay for the story. Number 1, Weinberg Center for the Arts. Originally opened as the Tivoli Theater, the Weinberg Center has been a cornerstone of entertainment in Frederick for nearly a century. Today, it serves as the city's premier venue for music, theater, dance, and film. As it approaches its 100th anniversary, the center remains a vibrant hub of community. There's no better place to celebrate the arts, history, and the joy of live performance all under one roof.
Frederick knows how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out. One of our favorite locations. You see it almost every morning on our show with our weather cam here and all the lit up boats, sailboats along the creek here. Yeah. It's good to be back, and we have all of your favorite segments coming up.
What's a piece of advice you'd give to somebody wanting to get into this job?
A piece of advice? I would say be willing to be open and try anything because I wanted to start out in sports, kind of got my foot in the door when it came to news, and really changed the trajectory of what I wanted to do because I really fell in love with news.
The book bag is $25. Let's show her some love. Let's see. 50 cents on the notebook. Okay, Dottie's fast. 12. Dottie likes to party.
All right.
Oh, $4. All right, you got one. You got one.
Yes.
12. Oh, I think she got it. All right.
And 20.
Congratulations.
I personally love a vanilla, so I'm going to do mostly vanilla today.
There we go. Caught me struggling on live TV, guys. Oh no, what am I doing wrong? Oh, there we go. And then we'll lead it. I feel like I'm back in chemistry class here with this.
Are these like peppers or tomatoes on the bottom?
These are all local pickled vegetables that we make fresh. Again, everything coming local from our farms. One of the things that we love too, unlike most places, you come and get a bagel from us, we don't skimp. It's covered on both sides.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. Absolutely.
And well, cheers to that, ladies. Cheers to winning. All right, winemaking.
Let's say bye to the camera, guys.
Bye. One more zip trip next week, 7 to 11 at National Harbor in Maryland. We would love to see you. Thank you, Frederick. We love Frederick, Maryland.
I got to tell you, all things fun in Frederick, Maryland. One of my favorite places in that amazing state. And as you heard Marissa make mention, only one more, yes, one more left. And that's going to take place at the National Harbor next week. You know what, Emmy, my producer, I might be a little late. I think I might stop by next week and check that out. Yet again, set to get underway on Friday. All right, guys, it is now the top of the hour, 1 o'clock to be exact, and all eyes on President Trump, as we are now getting reports that the president is planning to announce that the 2026 World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center in December. This is big news. Today's announcement combines two pet projects of Trump's, his boosting of the World Cup and his revamp of the Kennedy Center. Now, the tournament's draw, which sets the group stage of competition for 48 countries set to participate, will mark the first major event of the tournament, roughly 6 months before the first matches actually kick off. When that happens, we'll take you there live to the White House right here on the Live Zone. Meanwhile, the other big story of the day, the FBI conducted a court-authorized search this morning at the home of John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Madeline Somerville. political strategist back here on the Live Zone. Happy Friday, Madeline. Always good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Hey there. Happy Friday. How you doing?
I got to tell you, it's been a busy Friday. Hold on, let me take a quick breath. Because we have been nonstop since the time we signed on. You heard me make mention of the World Cup draw. We're expecting the president to announce that in just a second. But hold up, wait a minute. Earlier today, we saw the FBI raid none other than John Bolton's home, President Trump's former national security advisor. Guess what, Madeline? Happened right here in Bethesda. As you know, you've been here to the TV station. That's where we are based, not too far from here.
That is so crazy. And actually, I was on the air this morning when the story broke. So it was such a surprise to me. It just seems like news is coming out of everywhere.
Yeah, obviously, this surrounds a book he wrote back in 2020 to which President Trump claims he unveiled top secret information. The FBI also searching his downtown office. And, well, President Trump spoke earlier today saying to reporters that he knows nothing about this, but he expects to be briefed sometime in the near future. Now, some are saying, yeah, right. You really didn't know anything about it? What say you?
I'd have to say the same. I hadn't heard that news report yet. This really is coming out so quickly. But I think it's convenient that actually it was almost 2 years to the day that FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. So for the same reason, it was for documents that he may or may not have had. So I highly doubt that that's what's going on. And I think that even though there was an executive order that said that we were not going to politicize the justice system, it looks like that might be what we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting because shortly after this happened, Maryland Governor Westmore, who is a Democrat, said he seems to think that this is politically motivated. Would you agree with him?
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. So a lot of the Trump MAGA base was very excited about there not being a two-tiered justice system, about the fact that President Trump was going to hold people accountable who were in the upper echelons of society, that they would be treated like normal people and that justice would happen. And then when the Epstein stuff came down, they were very disappointed. And so you see with the tweets that we saw, like from Kash Patel and Bongino and from Pam Bondi, they're all saying, you know, no one is immune, no one's above the law. It seems to me, just as somebody who specializes in this, that they are specifically targeting that group that said, hey, you know, we're upset because we don't want to believe there's a two-tier justice system, and we thought you were going to take care of it. Well, I think that if he couldn't do it with Epstein, I think he thinks he's going to do it here.
Yeah, yet again, as I always say, this is going to be really interesting to see how all of this unfolds. Speaking of things unfolding, Madeline, we know that the stock market surged after the Fed chair hinted at an interest rate cut sometime in the very near future. Now, should this happen, I don't have to tell you that President Trump's going to be smiling from ear to ear.
Oh, for sure. He has been wanting this desperately for quite some time. And I know the speech that the Fed chair gave was probably his last one, although he has done quite a good job resisting President Trump. Because here's the thing, you really do want a Fed chair and a president who are at odds sometimes, because if the president is somebody who is looking
Madeline, I'm going to have to ask you to hold that thought, as it typically happens when you're on. But the president now speaking from the Oval Office. Let's go ahead and take a look in.
Up with FIFA, nobody like him. I'm delighted to welcome FIFA President Gianni Infantino back to the White House for a major announcement about one of the most anticipated competitions in all of sports, the 2026, and this is a big deal, I'll tell you, I was so happy to get it, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And it's going to be the World Cup as we know it. It's the biggest, probably the biggest event in sports, I guess, Johnny, right?
Yeah.
On December 5th of this year, the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center. Some people refer to it as the Trump Kennedy Center, but we're not prepared to do that quite yet, maybe in a week or so. But right here in Washington, D.C., it's a tremendous honor to bring the global event and this incredible group of people and these unbelievable athletes, the best athletes in the world, to the cultural center of our nation's capital. I just left the Kennedy Center. We're spending a lot of money wisely on making it really beautiful. It's going to be beautiful again. It's like Washington, D.C. We had, by the way, in Washington, D.C., we have the lowest crime numbers they've had in years. Zero, it sounds like it's a horrible thing to say, but I might as well say it. 0 murders in the last week since we've done this. That's the first time in memory that that's happened, if you can believe it, how pathetic that is to have to even say it. And I'm tired of listening to these people say how safe it was before we got here. It was unsafe, it was horrible, and Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long, because we'll take it over with the federal government, run it like it's supposed to be run. The numbers were horrible. It was a crime-infested rat hole, and they do have a lot of rats. We're getting rid of them too. And we've made a lot of progress, and it was extremely unsafe, and now it's extremely safe. We had virtually no crime. The number was down 87%, and I'm trying to figure out where was the 13%, because I don't think it existed. The National Guard has been unbelievable, and they're working with the police, and they have some very good people in there. They have some people that shouldn't be police, actually, but they have some great people there. And the Washington, D.C. is a whole different place, and Johnny, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that too, actually.
Oh, yes.
But it's a whole different place. People are excited again. They're going out to restaurants again. That was the other thing I saw numbers, that restaurant business is down in the last week. No. Restaurant business, you can't get into a restaurant. Just really lying people. And that's why people don't understand how bad and how dishonest the press is. I saw one poll that had us at 19% favorable on what we're doing with Washington. Then I saw another one that has us 94% favorable. And I can tell you the 94% is correct. The others are fake, just fake news. They got to get their act together. So bad for our country, so sick actually. So Washington, D.C. is really doing unbelievably well. And the Kennedy Center that we're fixing, I was just there all morning with contractors. We're making it unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. It's got great bones, but it needs a lot of work. The World Cup draw will set up the group stage of competition. 48 teams will play in 104 games across 16 North American cities, from Seattle to Vancouver to Atlanta to Miami. It's going to be so exciting for our country. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be one of the largest and most complex events. This will be one of the greatest events, one of the largest. In a way, it's like Johnny said it better. It's like having many Super Bowls in a short period of time. Because each one of these games essentially is a Super Bowl. Some of them are bigger than Super Bowls, actually. But they're essentially, each one of these games is like a Super Bowl. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest, most complex set of events in sports history. And the Kennedy Center will give it a phenomenal kickoff, and we'll be involved, and they'll be working over there for quite a bit of time. We have it all set that they can stay there for the big events, the big press conferences and everything else. And they'll be in a very safe capital. That'll be nice. You don't have to worry about walking down the street, Johnny, okay?
Thank you.
But you could handle yourself.
I could.
Already FIFA is projecting 6 million loyal fans will attend the World Cup events next year, and 6 billion more are going to be watching back home, and they think the $6 billion number is going to be actually a low number. And this will drive more than $30 billion into the U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs in a short period of time, too. No sporting event attracts more attention, more fans, more viewers, or more revenue than the FIFA World Cup. And again, I'll just say it's the World Cup, and it's the biggest thing there is in sports, and we have it. And I got it in my first administration, and I was really somewhat devastated, as devastated as I can be. I don't have time to get too devastated. I was very happy that today, as you saw, the group that does this, a government group, radical left group, announced that Trump was right. Took in $4 trillion worth of tariffs, that the $4 trillion are going to reduce the deficit by numbers far greater than they ever expected or heard of. And by the way, the stock market went up 1,000 points. That was as of 10 minutes ago. I can't tell you what happened. A lot of things happened. But the stock market's up almost 1,000 points. And it's basically on the news that the release that just came out from government that the tariffs that everybody was talking about, that the whole world respects us for because of what we did. The tariffs are going to be at $4 trillion. They're going to reduce the deficit by $4 trillion, Mr. Vice President.
Pretty good, sir.
Too bad it's not 5, right?
That's right.
It's had a huge impact, and the stock market is way up. But this will drive more than $30 billion in U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs. No sporting event attracts more attention or more fans or anything else. And I just look forward to the draw. So we're going to have the draw, essentially, Johnny, at the Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
And by that time, it'll be in even better shape. We're working on it. It's about a year project to make it. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. You see the way this is looking? Look, nice. I can't tell you how much that gold costs. A lot of money. There's nothing like gold, and there's nothing like solid gold. But this beautiful office needed it. It had to be representative. When we took it over, it was dirty, not clean. I immediately changed the chair and had this beautiful desk renovated, brought out by the White House. People that do this, they did a great job to send it out. We have a craftsman who's great. But this was not appropriate for the Oval Office when I took over. And now you look at all those paintings you're allowed to turn back. All of these are great presidents, and they were all in the vaults. They were in vaults for some cases much more than 100 years. And now they're proudly hanging on the Oval Office walls, and I can't imagine anybody changing it. But they were buried in vaults for over 100 years, many of them. So it's very exciting. People come in, they really love it. They love what we're doing here. They love what we're doing in D.C., and they love what we're doing, most importantly, in the country and the world. I'd like to ask Johnny to say a few words. He's the head of the whole thing. He's been there for a long time, probably the most respected man in sports. He's amazing, actually. Works very hard, and he's got the biggest event in the world coming right here to the United States. And a little, we did a little for Canada, we did a little for Mexico. We thought, see, I'm a good citizen. I said, let them have a little piece. So we gave a little to Canada, see how nice I am? And we gave a little bit to Mexico. And Johnny, please say a few words.
Thank you, President. Great honor for me to be here with you today, President, Vice President, Excellencies. Fantastic to announce what you said, which is the final draw of the FIFA World Cup on the 5th of December here in the capital, in the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. at 12 noon sharp. It will be broadcast live all over the world. 1 billion viewers will watch it, and it will determine, of course, the match schedule, which 48 participating teams will play. You said it, 104 matches in 1 month, 104 Super Bowls. This is not just the biggest, the greatest event, not just a sports event, it's a social event as well, with a lot of emotion. We are uniting the world, Mr. President, uniting the world here in America, and we are very proud of that. And those teams, those national teams who will come here to participate in this draw with their coaches, with their presidents, they will all be proud to be part of writing this history. And that's why we brought as well this, which is the winner's trophy. It is the trophy that the winner of the FIFA World Cup wins. Only the FIFA president, presidents of countries, and then those who win can touch it, because it's for winners only. And since you are a winner, of course, you can as well touch it. It's pretty heavy. Yeah. It's the winner trophy. The last one who lifted that is Lionel Messi of Argentina. And here it is in the Oval Office in the White House.
Can I keep it?
For you. Well, you can keep it after the World Cup.
We're not giving it back. That's serious.
It fits well.
It goes very well on the wall right over there. We'll put it right below the angels.
It fits well here, I think.
That's beautiful, yeah.
You can keep it until we have to give it to the next winner.
That's fine. That's a beautiful piece of gold, I will say. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So 6 billion viewers for the World Cup, 6 million coming to the matches, 30 billion economic impact, 185,000 jobs. This will be absolutely fantastic. The biggest event ever, and everything will start here in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Center, or the Trump Kennedy Center. We'll see that, how it will be called, on the 5th of September at noon sharp. 5th of December, noon sharp. Then, if I may...
Will they be doing most of the draws, all of the draws at the Kennedy? Well, how are you going to do that?
Yes, we'll do that at the Kennedy Center. We'll do all the other meetings around it with the coaches, with the broadcasters, with the sponsors, everything at the Kennedy Center. The whole World Cup starts, and everyone will be happy because everyone has qualified for the World Cup, and they didn't yet play a game, so they didn't lose yet a game. So they all think they can become world champion, right?
They'll all be happy.
Exactly. Now,
By the way, an example, supposing we had a week ago when everybody was being killed and mugged and everything else, despite the phony numbers that were given out, that it was getting better. Brian, do you believe it was getting better or getting worse?
Oh, the crime was getting worse. I mean, I was robbed. It was getting way worse.
Yeah. How did the other guy come out?
Well, he came out with my briefcase, unfortunately. Yeah. So, Robert 1, Brian 0.
No, but can you imagine you do this and then you start hearing that they had a 20-year reduction of crime. It's worse. It was worse during the Biden administration than anybody's ever imagined possible. And I guarantee you, he wouldn't be here if those numbers continued. But now we have total safety. We have total security. And for the border, in 3 months, 0 people. These are done by liberal people that do these charts. 0 people came through our border in the last 90 days. Can you believe it? 0. Last year we had millions of people coming in, and they came in from the wrong locations. They came in from they came in a lot of people that shouldn't be here. So now when we have this event in December, it's going to be very safe. Johnny, you can walk down the street with your beautiful wife.
Yeah.
You can take her to dinner if you can get a reservation, which I doubt.
They're all full, the restaurants.
I know. They're all full. I heard that too. The restaurants aren't. The restaurants, since we are doing this, are doing great. And many new restaurants are going to open because, as you know, many closed. Yeah. Many restaurants closed because the crime was so bad. This will be one of the safest places anywhere on earth. So, you know, I really am honored that the National Guard has done such an incredible job working with the police. And we haven't had to bring in the regular military, which we're willing to do. We have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with, and I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here, because half of them got mugged, and they don't want to get mugged again. But they're, you know, they work for stupid people that are radical left, and they're made to do things and say things that they don't want to be saying. But the people right here are all happy because you're not going to be mugged in Washington, D.C. anymore. I just want to say Johnny's been my friend for a long time. He's an incredible guy, and we will lay out the red carpet. Andrew, you're going to be fantastic. Rick is going to be everything Rick ever touched has always worked out, and he's working with me on the Kennedy Center. And his very good friend was an actor on Broadway for 5 years, right? And I assume he's helping us a little bit, right?
Yes.
And Andrew, you're all excited about it?
Absolutely.
Would you like to say something?
This is a great opportunity, Mr. President, to show off the first 250 years of the United States of America, the greatness, and then the hope and promise of the next 250 years. When you think this World Cup is going to be over our 250th birthday, Mr. President, your leadership, obviously, with FIFA leading the way, this is the largest sporting event in the history of the world under the Trump administration. So very excited.
I just want to say one thing. Andrew Giuliani, so his father is Rudy, the greatest mayor in the history of New York, I think by far. He took a ravaged city, a city that was really under siege. Probably most people thought it was going to survive. He turned it around. He was a great, great mayor. And then they treated him very, very unfairly. You go back and tell your father all of the things that have come out over the last couple of months through Tulsi and through all of the people, Cash, everybody. They've proven your father 100% correct. His father was treated so unfairly. Your father has been 100% correct. And tell him we all love him, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's been amazing. What he had to go through was very, very unfair, nasty. These are bad people. Mr. Vice President, would you like to say something?
Well, sure, Mr. President, thank you, and thanks to Johnny for being here. We're very thrilled about the World Cup. Just to echo something the President said about crime in Washington, D.C., this is the national capital of the greatest nation in the world, and we had murder rates just a few weeks ago that rivaled some of the worst third world cities anywhere, even in very, very poor regions of the world. Why did we accept that? Why did we allow it to happen? We allowed it to happen because we had broken leadership in Washington, D.C., and unfortunately sitting behind the Resolute desk. What we have shown in just under 2 weeks of taking law enforcement seriously is that the American people can have their streets back if their leadership is willing to put in the time and the resources. Mr. President, you've shown in Washington, D.C. that we can have safe streets again. We've just got to have the political willpower to focus on the bad guys and to give the American people back their communities. We are focused on doing that, thanks to the President's leadership.
Thank you. And that's a really very small percentage. It's 2%, 3%, but that 2% and 3% wreaks just havoc throughout a community. People are petrified, and I notice a couple of the women in the back are shaking their head, yes, yes, yes. I won't report who you are because you'll end up losing your jobs, but it's true. It's amazing, and the police. And you look at the D.C. National Guard, I saw pictures of them last night getting off vans and all, and I saw some bad ones running, but they're not running so much anymore. They're not there. They're just not even trying. You're totally safe. Now, there'll be something happening sometime. I don't know. Maybe it won't be for a long time. But this was every night would get reports of people being mugged and killed. There's one woman on television last night. She had a badly busted up nose. And she's, well, I like our streets the way they used to be. And she thinks it's going to happen like by doing nothing. And they say, what happened to your nose? She got slugged by a guy walking down the street, slugged. Her nose will never be the same, I guarantee you, unless it takes a pretty good turn. She wasn't really for us. But she sort of said, well, maybe something has to happen before this happened to me. She got whacked. And I don't think she'll ever be the same. She was a half a Trump fan, a woman that would have never been a Trump fan, but she was hit hard. It's not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen anymore. But then we're going to beautify the city too. That's where I was today at Kennedy Center. And we're going to beautify the city like it has it. And we're working with Clark Construction, the biggest construction company in Chicago, and in Washington. And the head of Clark is great. He's all over the world, actually. But Washington, I would say, is their home. That's where they do the best work, the biggest work. And they've been doing a fantastic job. So you're going to have a fantastic, clean, beautiful place. It's going to be better than it ever was before, literally better than it ever was before. We'll get it done very quickly. And I want to thank Clark because they're doing a lot of work in a lot of different locations. But they've been fantastic for getting us the right contractors and the people that can really do the job right. And Johnny, did you want to say something?
Yes, I have one more thing, because as you rightly say, with security and beautifying cities and the whole country, we want people to come and enjoy and have fun. And that's why this is not just the most iconic trophy in the world of sport, but we start on the 10th of September the sale of tickets for the FIFA World Cup, and we have the first ticket here for the final.
Good. Oh. Wow.
For you.
Oh, good. That's cool. Wow.
It's of course row 1, seat 1. It's ticket number 4547, and it's for the final in New York, New Jersey. So you have your ticket already for the final. All the others, 10th of September, start getting your tickets.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
6.5, 7 million tickets. Fans will enjoy the security here. Will be fantastic.
You're going to do record business, I think.
100%.
Christy, would you like to say something?
Yeah, Mr. President, millions of people will come to this country, and we'll make sure they get their travel documents, their visas, that they want to come here and spend their money and enjoy the sporting event. It'll be the largest event in the world. And sir, you're reminding me of something that my dad used to say all the time when I was growing up. He would say, Christy, you kids need to look like you respect yourself before anybody's going to respect you. And in this country, when people look at our streets, when they look at our Capitol, you're bringing respect. back to this city. And people will respect our country more because it's safe, it's clean, it's beautiful. And what you're doing is transforming this nation by making sure that our laws are upheld. And millions of people are going to come and be able to enjoy it next year, and I'm excited about that. Thank you for doing that.
Well, our country is respected again. And a year ago, we had a dead country. I'm telling you, it was a dead country. It was a country that had lost its way. It was a country that was going to fail. Look, even today, where they say $4 trillion in reductions of deficits, and this was totally unexpected. They didn't expect it. I mean, I don't know where they've been, the people that do this stuff, but it's terrible. I want to thank Christy for another reason. I said to her 2 weeks ago, I said, Christy, do me a favor. I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built the same wall that the Border Patrol asked me to build. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do concrete plank and everything nice, but you wouldn't have been able to see through it. So I had Border Patrol in, and they tested everything else. And we gave them steel wall, high-grade steel, very hard to cut. Then we gave inside that is 9,000-pound concrete, which is a very tough concrete. Inside that is rebar, a big, fat piece of rebar. So you have all different materials that are very hard to cut, and you need different instruments to cut each one. And I said, Kristen, we got to get a coat of paint on it. And I didn't know she was listening, but I said, we got to get a coat of paint, and it should be black, because black makes the steel very hot. It's untouchable. You could fry an egg on it. And if you got a good black, flat paint, it would look beautiful. It will preserve it from rust. And that was it. And I gave it to her along with 30 other things, and she's done such a good job on the border with Tom Holman and the group. Tom Holman's a fantastic guy, what the job he does and the way they work together. So I turned on last night and I see Christie's painting the wall. And it looked beautiful, by the way, when that paint went over there.
And it's hot.
It's hot.
Yes, it is.
It's hot. If it's white, it's not hot. If it's black, it's going to be very hard to climb that sucker. It's not going to be easy. But it's black and a high quality black. You know, it really looked good.
Yeah, we got
Is
the
that going to
paint
be a
you told us
two-coat
to.
job or a one-coat?
No, just one coat.
One coat.
We
Good.
used the paint you told me to buy.
Yep. The two-coat will take place in 3 years from now. Right? We'll do the second coat. But it looks beautiful. But thank you very much. I didn't know you were listening to that, because we talked about 7 different subjects, and all of a sudden I see her out there painting with a lot of painters and everything else. But it was a beautiful thing to say. Would you like to say something? You've been such a big part of this. Please.
Well, just, Mr. President, we're delighted to be here today for this announcement, but we're also looking forward to having you at the final.
Oh, yes.
On July
Oh, yes.
19th
No, we'll be
in New
there.
York, New Jersey.
We're going to be there. A lot of people are going to be there.
A lot of people.
I'd like to thank you all. Do you have any questions on FIFA, first of all?
It's going to be a big event at the Kennedy Center. Do you intend to take part in it? Will you have a part to play on December 5th?
I might play. I mean, I see the money that these soccer players, you know, we call it soccer, but I see the money that these soccer players are making. I may try and play. I'm a very good athlete. My son is a very good athlete, and he's a good soccer player. He's on the tall side for soccer. Yeah. He's 6'9". That's pretty tall, but
that's pretty tall.
It's on the tall side.
He's good.
It's on the tall side, but he's good. But no, I may put on shorts. I look extremely good in shorts and enjoying the play. You know, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be good.
Many foreigners who want to come to attend the event are concerned about the visa situation. Can you reassure them?
Yeah, they're going to have a very easy time getting in. Certain countries are going to be very, very easy, and other countries are going to be obviously a little bit more difficult. Would you like to explain that, Kristen?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a process set up that we'll be implementing on getting visas approved. Everybody will be thoroughly vetted, but they'll be welcome to this country. It'll happen quickly, and we're excited for them to come. So I would hope that around the world people know that the United States is excited to bring their family here to enjoy this event.
America welcomes the world.
Yes.
And I can really, from the collaboration that we have, testify for that, absolutely. Thank you.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But he'll, I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming, and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay of me, but nice of him. So that was very nice that it was sent to me. Okay? Mr.
President, on
yes.
that subject, have you talked to Vladimir Putin about the fact that yesterday a big U.S. factory was hit in a Russian airstrike in Ukraine? What's your reaction to
I
that?
told him I'm not happy about it, and I'm not happy about anything having to do with that war. I said I settled 7 wars, and actually, if you think about pre-wars, add 3 more, so it would be 10. I thought this would be in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty. No, I'm not happy about anything about that war. Nothing. Not happy at all. We'll see what happens. I think over the next 2 weeks we're going to find out which way it's going to go, and I better be very happy.
Mr. President, I had a very good call with Prime Minister Carney of Canada yesterday morning.
Yes.
Actually, Canada is taking away some retaliatory tariffs.
He's removing his tariffs, yeah.
Exactly.
He's removing his retaliatory tariffs, which I thought was nice. And we're going to have another call soon. Okay. Yeah, we had a very good call.
You're getting closer towards an agreement on trade?
I like them. You know, look, I'm fighting for the United States. Canada and Mexico have taken a lot of our business over the years, over 25, 30 years. Especially during the Biden years. They took a lot of our business, and it's basically all coming back into the United States now. Well, hot as a pistol, and it's coming back in. Because of tariffs and the incentives we give, it's coming back. And it's impossible, I think, for another country to stop it. And we are working on something. We want to be very good to Canada. I like Carney a lot. I think he's a good person. And we had a very good talk yesterday, so I think it'll be good.
Mr. President, I have a question about the search of Ambassador Bolton's home. The Vice President recently just did an interview saying that it's about classified documents, but that there's also broad concern about him. What are the concerns?
Well,
that
I
you
haven't
have?
spoken to Pam in the group yet, but I will be. I saw that just like everybody else. I try and stay out of that stuff. I'm allowed to be, and I'm chief law enforcement officer, believe it or not. You know, I don't like to go around saying that, but I am. That's the position. But I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually. And he suffers major Trump derangement syndrome, but so do a lot of people, and they're not being affected by anything we do. I don't know anything about it. I just saw that. I'll find out about it. But if you believe the news, which I do, I guess his house was raided today, but my house was raided also. Called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. They went through her drawers, as the expression goes. They went through everything you can imagine. And when she came back, she said, she's very neat, you know, she's meticulous. And she looked and she said, whoa, this wasn't the way that she had it. So, you know, so I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling. Thank you.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, how long will you give Putin?
A couple of weeks. We're going to figure it out. We'll find it.
Do you think you'll have to intervene at some point?
Look, it takes 2 to tango. You understand that. I wanted to have a meeting with those 2. I could have been at the meeting, but a lot of people think that nothing's going to come out of that meeting. You have to be there. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But we're going to see. In the meantime, people continue to die. But I've solved 7 of them where they were in wars for 31, 35, and 37 years. We had 3 of them that were for more than 30 years, Johnny, and I got them solved. And we solved one that could have been a nuclear war with India and Pakistan. That was getting ready to be a nuclear war. I solved them all. And this one, I thought we would have had it done by now, but it's more difficult. There's a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. There's a tremendous amount of hatred there. So. But we'll see what happens. I think in 2 weeks we'll know which way I'm going. Because I'm going to go one way or the other. And they'll learn which way I'm going.
Mr. President, if I got 2 questions for you. One on FIFA, the other one on DC. Can you talk about the economic impact that FIFA will have in these cities, and what's your message to the mayors to get their cities prepared, not only the beautification process, but also the safety aspect?
Well, Los Angeles is an example. You know, it's poorly run. We have a mayor there that can't even get permits to the people that lost their houses. Lee Zeldin got every permit. The hardest permit is the federal permit. Within 20 days, every single permit was there for the people to build their houses. But people are writing us and they're saying they won't give us. The mayor is incompetent. The governor is incompetent. You know, Gavin. I know Gavin very well. He's an incompetent guy with a good line of bullshit, and he doesn't get the job done. And frankly, Those people want to build their houses. It's terrible. They could have been built. Some of them could have been built already. But think of it, the federal government that has the most complex part, and it's the most complex environmental thing to do. We got it, everybody had it within 30 days. And they're not even close to getting their permits. And now they're talking about taking some of those sites and building low-income housing on them. These are high-end neighborhoods. And I'm all for low-income housing. I built a lot of low-income housing. I know all about 236. I know every program that there is in the government. I used every one of them. I know more about low-income housing than probably almost anybody. And it's great. It's fine. It's wonderful. But you don't build it in Pacific Palisades. You don't build it there, and you don't build it in the other areas that burn down. So they're talking about putting up low-income housing. And you talk about riots. They're going to have riots if that happens because you're taking the people's property away. They want to build their houses, and they're unable to get permits from the mayor and from the governor. And that's a terrible thing. But, and let me tell you, if I didn't send in the troops in Los Angeles, Johnny wouldn't be in Los Angeles. You wouldn't be having your World Cup there. I sent in the troops, and we kept it. And even the police commissioner, the sheriff and the police commissioner, they all said the same thing. They said, we could have never handled what was happening. You saw that, you were there. He said, we could have never handled what was happening. And then you hear Gavin Newsom, after it's all quelled, you hear Newsom get up and say, we could have done this for ourselves. No, they couldn't have. And if they could have, I wouldn't have taken the chance either.
Okay, my second question is on crime prevention. Would you be open to expanding the national concealed carry to apply to DC like it does in other states like Texas?
Yeah. Well, they have it in some states and they feel strongly about it. As you know, I'm in favor of it. People have to protect themselves. I'm a Second Amendment person, very simply. People have to be able to protect themselves. Especially like in Washington, you walk down the street, a guy comes up and slugs you. He's got a pistol in his hand. You can be tough, you can be in great shape, you can be a powerful person, or you can be a guy that weighs 100 pounds with a gun in your hand. Right. And I'll bet on the guy with the gun 100% of the time, right? And so you need protection. So I'm a Second Amendment person all the way. Yeah, please.
President Trump, you said this morning that you're working with Congress to get $2 billion to help clean up DC. Have you had any conversations with Mike Johnson and John Thune about where they're going to get that money from?
Which money?
You said this morning that you're going to get $2 billion from Congress to help clean up DC.
Yeah, I've spoken to Mike Johnson. I've spoken to John Thune, the Senate, the House, and I think it's going to be very easy to get. It's going to be not a lot of money. I wouldn't even know where to spend the number that you mentioned, but it's going to be money to beautify the city. Yeah, they're ready. Everybody wants to save DC. In one way, it's the easiest. The violence was more than any other city in the country, actually, by far. It may have been more than any other city in the world, if you could think. We looked at some of the worst cities in the world, it was worse. And that's why it angers me to see the mayor saying about how they have it on the slide. Not on the slide, it was worse than ever. Yeah, we have no problem getting that money. That money will come out of Congress. I think it'll be even bipartisan.
And is the plan
I mean, I would imagine Democrats would vote for that one.
Is the plan to get it before the September 30 spending deadline on the Hill?
Well, I don't know if there is a deadline, because if I declare a national emergency, which this was, that ends the deadline. So, I mean, I keep seeing about a 30-day deadline, of which we have 22 days left or something. But if I think we're in great shape here, that's one thing. But if I don't, I'm going to just say it's a national emergency. And if I have a national emergency, I can keep the troops there as long as I want. If people are not going to want to have the troops in 30 days, it's one thing to get them out. It's another thing to keep them out for a long period of time. You've got to train people. You can't do this. You can't bop people over the head. And a lot of those people are in courts right now, going to court. They're going to go to jail for a long time. So that's going to take more than 30 days. But if I have to, I'll declare a national emergency, which I don't think I'll have to do. Yeah.
Mr. President, can I ask you about Russia? You said in 2 weeks you'll know whether you go
Yeah,
one
I think I'll
way or
know.
the
I
other.
think I'll know the attitude of Russia and, frankly, of Ukraine. It takes two.
What are the 2 ways you can go at the end of 2 weeks then?
Well, then I'm going to make a decision as to what we do, and it's going to be a very important decision. And that's whether or not it's massive sanctions or massive tariffs or both, or do we do nothing and say it's your fight? Look, I would have never been in this war if I were president. You wouldn't have had this war. It was never going to happen. This was caused by Stupid people that fought. And you know, people say, well, how do we know? Because for 4 years, it was never even a subject. And Vladimir knew, and you see his picture right here. It was nice that he sent, but Vladimir knew very strongly we wouldn't have stood for it. It wouldn't have happened. 100% wouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And now they're losing from 5 to 7 young kids. Think of it, you're a parent and your son is leaving. He's Russian or he's Ukrainian. And he's leaving and they're waving goodbye. Nice, beautiful kid. Nice crew cut, all set. He wants to be a soldier. And goes there first week, he has his head blown off. And he's no different than you people, me. And it doesn't matter where. I mean, I solved a problem in the Congo that was vicious. Rwanda and the Congo, the Republic of the Congo. And they were fighting for 31 years, and it was machetes. People were getting their heads chopped off. That was going on for 31 years. I got it solved. You saw it. They came to the White House, we signed an agreement. It was amazing. People can't believe we got it done. I love to stop killing. I really do. People thought it would be just the opposite. Hillary Clinton said, oh, he'll get us into a war. No, I'm getting everybody else out of wars.
Are you saying there's a real possibility then that you do nothing if Putin doesn't come to the table for a ceasefire or try to end the war?
I'll see whose fault it is. If there are reasons why, I'll understand that. I know exactly what I'm doing. We're going to see whether or not they have a meeting. That'll be interesting to see. And if they don't, why didn't they have a meeting? Because I told them to have a meeting. But I'll know in 2 weeks what I'm going to do. I have pretty good ideas.
Your Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
I'm in support of keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. You know, people, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. I mean, but I don't want to hurt Larry Summers, but he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, this is a Democratic hoax to try and get the significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history. What we've done, including stopping 7 wars. I mean, just include that. And now you look at the stock market today, it's way up to start off with from where I took it. And this market was going to crash. If Joe Biden or Kamala were president, this market, we would have had a crash like in 1929. You're not going to have that. It's only a question of how high is it going to go. You know, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And despite COVID, we had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And we're going to blow it away this time. I was always good at making a lot of money. And whether it was for myself or whether it was, I like doing it this way better. I mean, I like making it for the country. Our country's been ripped off by friend and foe, nations all over the world ripped off. And the friends have been much worse than the foes for the most part. And they're not ripping us off. We just signed a deal with the European Union. They're paying us essentially $950 billion, like a signing fee. They're going to buy $750 billion worth of energy. They weren't buying much of our energy there. And they're very smart in doing it. And as you know, Ursula was here a couple of days ago having to do with the people, the leaders that we had a great, people said they've never seen anything like it. Well, we had the leaders of Europe right here in the Oval Office. And she's so happy that she has an agreement. But people aren't ripping us anymore. We're run by, this country is run by smart people now.
Mr. President, in Israel... Two questions. One is that Intel, there have been reports that you're considering taking a stake in Intel. Can you tell
About the
us
10%?
About the 10%.
Yeah, I met a man, he was a very nice man, and I called for his removal because I saw something by a man named Tom Cotton, a senator from Arkansas, who's a great guy, friend of mine, supporter of mine, big supporter, I'm a supporter of his too. And he wrote a pretty nasty story about the head of Intel. And I said, well, if that's right, he should resign. And he came in, he saw me, we talked for a while. I liked him a lot. I thought he was very good. I thought he was somewhat a victim, but you know, nobody's a total victim, I guess. And I said, you know what? I think the United States should be given 10% of Intel. And he said, I would consider that. I said, well, I'd like you to do that because Intel has been left behind, as you know, compared to Jensen and some of our friends, NVIDIA, some of the people and the people in, because Intel should have never been. Intel was the biggest, most powerful chip company in the world. And then they started leaving. And they started going to foreign countries, in particular Taiwan. And if we had a president that would have said, okay, you can go to Taiwan, but we're going to put a 100% tariff or a 200 or 300 or a 500% tariff, anybody that sells into the United States has to pay. They wouldn't have left. They would have never left, and we wouldn't have. So in the meantime, we had people that were, in some cases, good politicians that weren't good on trade. I loved that man, but he was not good on trade. I totally disagreed. He allowed the car industry to be taken out of this country. We lost 50% of our car industry. But that's all coming back. It's all coming back. But if somebody would have said that with Intel, would be a giant right now. Now with that, they've had some bad management over the years and they got lost. And I said, I think you should pay us 10% of your company. And they said, yes. That's about $10 billion. I don't get it. This comes to the United States of America. And I said, I think it would be good having the United States as your partner. He agreed. And they've agreed to do it. And I think it's a great deal for them. And I think it's a great deal. He walked in wanting to keep his job, and he ended up giving us $10 billion for the United States. So we picked up $10 billion. And we do a lot of deals like that. I'll do more of them. If somebody has, like we have restrictive covenants with Jensen. We have, it's NVIDIA. And to unrestrict the covenant, nothing to do with losing our powers or military or anything, because that I wouldn't do. But there are things you can do that don't affect us, that actually help us. And if we're going to give somebody a free out, a restricted covenant, we have a strong restrictive covenant on certain industries. And I will absolutely give somebody a opening on a restrict to do a lot of business, which is good for us, as long as it doesn't hurt us in a security or military way. And if I do that, I think the country should be paid, because anybody else, I have it in real estate where I'll have a deal with somebody and I'll have them restrictive covenant. Then they'll come back and they'll say, I'd love to be able to build over here, but I'm not allowed to because you have me covered, you have me restricted. I say, I'll let you build over there, but pay me a lot of money. No different. But the country never did it because the country was run by foolish people.
On DC 5, you said Chicago might be next. Are you making, have there been concrete steps that the administration is taking to do that? Or what are other cities as well?
I haven't spoken to them. He's grossly incompetent. I haven't spoken to the mayor. No, when we're ready, we'll go in and we'll straighten out Chicago, just like we did DC. Chicago is very dangerous, great place. I built great stuff there. I have the most beautiful building in Chicago, I think. But I hate to see what's happened to Chicago. Chicago was our greatest city, actually. Bob Tisch, a great friend of mine, passed away. He used to own the Giants and very successful Lowe's. He said Chicago, I think they had their main office in Chicago. He said Chicago and San Francisco are the two greatest cities in the world. Now you look at what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They've destroyed it. I own a big chunk of the Bank of America building in San Francisco. And, you know, it's just different. We can clean that up too. We'll clean that one up too. Now, if everything works out, and we've already had calls from other cities, quiet calls from Democrats. We'd love you to come here because they've lost control of their cities. I'm not going to say because I don't want them to lose their elections. But we've had calls from Democrats and calls from people generally. We'd love you to come here because we'll straighten out the problem.
Mr. President, in Israel, the families of hostages are opposed to the reoccupying of Gaza. Why is the U.S. still
Well, not
supporting
all of them. And you have to understand, I'm the one that got all of the hostages out. You got a lot of people out. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be out. I worked with Bibi and I worked with Steve Witkoff. But if it wasn't for me, you would have all these hostages would most likely be dead right now, every one of them. So they all come up here. They come in groups of 10, 12, 13, and many of them, and I've gotten to know a lot of them. They're great people. What they had to go through is incredible. But so now they have 20, but the 20 is actually probably not 20 because a couple maybe aren't around any longer. It's a terrible thing. No, I don't like anymore. I said, you know, when you get down to 20, they're not going to make deals anymore. And they didn't. And then I put out a statement, as you know, that was a tough statement. Go in and get them. And they said, we'll give you 10, we'll give you 10. I don't know what Israel's doing, but they were willing now immediately to give us another 10. The situation has to end. It's extortion and it has to end. And we'll see what happens. I actually think they're safer in many ways if you went in and you really went in fast and you did it. And people can't forget October 7th, remember that. I'm friendly with all groups. I won the Arab vote in Michigan. I did so great with the Arab vote, remember? I started off at 0, I ended up winning. I wouldn't say the candidate was the greatest, but I would have won against anybody. They're great people. But we have to do things properly. And you know, I'm very proud to say I got the hostages out. You have hundreds of people that are living now because of me. And now we have that final little group of people. And Hamas knows that if they give them, that's probably the end of their lives. So it's not easy to get. And I know if you're a parent, you just don't care. You want, I want my baby back. They want their babies back. They want their kids back. And I understand it. But I got them out and did a good job. And we're doing everything we can to get the hostages out. Thank you all very much. Yes?
So Jackson Hole, Jay Powell today said, he suggested that they might cut interest rates, but they have to proceed.
Well, we call him too late for a reason. He should have cut him a year ago. He's too late. You know, we have a stock market that's up 1,000 points today. I better be careful because I'll go out there and I'll see it's down 1,000, right? But it's up 1,000 points when I came in here. We have a country that the market's the hottest it's ever been. The country's better than it's ever been. We have a military that I rebuilt largely in my first term. We had a great, successful first term, but this is going to be even better. But we rebuilt it. We gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan, but relatively small compared to the overall. But I think it was the most embarrassing day and period in the history of our country that they allowed those 13 wonderful people, but it's really hundreds of people were killed. And they don't talk about the 48 that was so severely wounded with no legs, no arms, nobody ever mentions them except me. But that was the worst day, the most, it just showed how incompetent. Frankly, if that didn't happen, I really believe that you might not have had the problem with Russia. I think Putin was sitting there watching these stupid people running our country and said, this is a time to invade. It's, this is a time. And then Biden made the statement, well, he can do a small incursion. When he said that, it was off to the races, right? When he said he can do a small incursion, remember that? I was surprised he knew the word incursion. I didn't think he had that good of a vocabulary. I want to thank everybody. It's very important to me and to everybody up here, the World Cup. And Johnny has been so incredible. I mean, he's really a great leader. I mean, to think, I said, Johnny, do it by phone. You don't have to come. No, he said, I'll come. And he flew all night long to be here and listen to this about how great we're doing in D.C. But he's a fantastic leader, and this will be your most successful World Cup ever. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much. America will win. Yeah, can we win it, Mr. President?
I don't know. That's I watch some of those teams go right. They go down that field. I don't know. But let me ask you: what chance does America have of winning?
Well, the home team always has a good chance to win. It depends
how
it
good
starts. No, but it has some good players.
We have a shot.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you have a chance.
Will Bears be going to any of the games, Mr. President?
I'd love to have him. He'd love to. He's very tall. Maybe we can make him a goalie. The goalies are very tall now, right?
The goalies are very tall.
The goalies, well, he'd be a perfect goalie.
100%.
At his height, he'll be a great goalie.
Exactly.
So we'll put him with the American team. No, but do the Americans have a chance of getting into the quarterfinals?
Yes,
right?
definitely. No, the quarterfinal, definitely. But then, as the tournament goes on with the public 250 years of United States, let's not forget, they will all feel energized about that.
It's amazing. The talent is really great when you watch these things. I went to the game 2 weeks ago, and it was a big upset. But you look at these people; the way they pass it. It's amazing, really amazing. It's a great art, right? It's great talent.
It is incredible.
You know the expression. What?
Will you draw the names?
I don't know. He's the boss.
That's an interesting proposal.
He's the boss.
We'll discuss that.
It's going to be great. And I think the American team is going to do well. I mean, I hear it's a very good team. Good luck, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you. You keep a lot of those. Thank you guys. Thank you.
No, I just got one.
Thank you.
This was sent to me.
We're done, thank you.
I thought it was a nice photo. Thank you very much.
All right, there you have it. President Trump making the announcement that the 2026 World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center in December. This is amazing news. Trump has already hosted multiple World Cup events at the White House and attended the Club World Cup final earlier this summer, as you heard the president just make mention of. Officials project the tournament will draw some 6 million fans to matches in 16 North American cities and will drive $30 billion into the U.S. economy. With regard to the federal surge right here in the nation's capital, the president actually having a direct message to the mayor to, quote, get her act together. As he states, he believes that she has put forth faulty numbers and that, well, the surge will continue, at least for the time being. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, don't forget, obviously, you can check us out each and every Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock, or I'm sorry, at 12 noon until 2. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break and get you set for the next show coming up right here on Fox 5. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. A busy rest of the day left. Don't forget tonight, beginning at 7:30, you can check out Do Ya Like It or Not? You see that QR code right there on your screen? Click it, yes, so you can check out the show with producer Chris, who, by the way, is coming up in just a minute on The Take. Also, if you haven't already done so, you can watch us on our YouTube page as well. Speaking of watching us, don't forget tomorrow, yes, the Commanders are going to take on the Baltimore Ravens. It's the last preseason game, but heck, don't even wait for the game. Chad Ricardo doing his thing beginning at 11:15. It's, I got to tell you, if you haven't seen it, it is all things great TV, and you'll get a chance to see just that tomorrow, yet again at 11:15, but you have to download the Fox Local app. Hey, on behalf of my producer, Emmy, I'm Guy Lambert. We truly thank you for watching. We do this each and every Monday through Friday, beginning at 12 noon. Tell a friend, bring a friend, and yes, come Monday, we'll do it all over again. The Take, coming up next right here on Fox 5.